out to Leszewski. Leszewski for three. Got it!
Money, huddle, gotta, cuddle, lot of orders, dollars, quarters.
Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Today we have episode 3 of Breaking Down the Tape, and this is part 2 of Blake versus JR. If you don't know, JR Konieczny is a Notre Dame commit for the class of 21, and Blake is a target, hopefully soon a Notre Dame commit. I think he's dropping a top 14 schools list soon. It was supposed to be top 5, but I guess he couldn't narrow it down yet. But we'll see it eventually. Hopefully Notre Dame lands him, but for now we don't know. All he is a Notre Dame target. But they played in AAU like 2 weeks ago. You're going to see this on Sunday. Today's Saturday, but 2 weeks ago they played. Like I mentioned in the first episode, there's a lot of talent on both teams. I think there was like 12 D1 players playing in that game. Indiana commits, Purdue commits, Michi Johnson, an Ohio State commit, Luke Goody, Illinois commit. Just a ton of talent all over the court, and even guys who I think could go D1 who aren't committed or don't have offers, but that's for another time. But like I was saying, these guys don't have huge roles on their teams just because of all the talent. I mean, they have roles. They both started this game. But, I mean, they're not going to get the touches that they would in, say, high school ball where they're both the best player on their team. And you saw that in the first game with their shot selection, just because they're the best player on the team. But this time, I mean, I think both of them put on a decent performance. JR had 8 points, Blake had 17. A lot of Blake's points are going to be cut out from free throws because I don't really want to show you a bunch of Blake Wesley free throws. He did shoot more efficiently from the line, which was an issue at the beginning of the summer. So I guess that's fixed now for the most part. Hopefully he can build on it going into the high school season. But yeah, both of them had really decent games. JR's team is pretty much one man for himself, so if it looks like he's ball hogging, he's not. It's just nobody really swings the ball on his team for some reason. Blake's team's a little bit better with that, but yeah, I guess I'll get to the highlights, and you guys can see how well these guys can play, all the crazy highlights they can produce. So let's get into it now. So the first play already started on a high note. Blake Wesley all the way coast to coast over JR and one. Really hard to stop, just showing off his speed. Really nice play there. Now here's some on-ball defense by JR just to get a feel for him. It's not going to be a play in the highlight reels, but really nice effort here from JR. Makes this guy pass the ball. We'll have more clips of on-ball defense from him later. This play, not a great shot by Blake, but you see how high he gets over the defender. It just shows you he can make them, but obviously we don't really want him taking that shot. Same for this one. Passes it down to the post, gets it back, and then takes a contested look. Not a terrible look, but, I mean, he shows you he can get it off, but shot selection still is a bit of a concern for me. Over the summer, I think he did improve on that a lot. And then this one of the crazier plays of the day, probably in my top 3 favorites. JR, bang, look at that. I thought we were going to get an instant replay for that one. I thought I put it in. Oh, wait, there it is. Yeah, there's an instant replay thing. Just let you enjoy this real quick. There you go. Also, thanks to JR for reposting that on Instagram. And then here's another JR play. I think he's got to finish this one better, but you can see how he attacks the basket. Same with Blake. Finishing is a bit of a concern for both of them. Hopefully they can improve that by the time they get to college, but I really like the way they both attack the basket. Another possession of JR's on-ball defense. The guy does get by him a little bit, but he's forced to take a bad shot. Good defense all around by JR, pressed up on the guy. And then another one, crazy shot by JR. Step back over to the defender. JR reposted this on his IG story that we posted, so thanks to JR for that. But one last look at it. Crazy, unbelievable. If he can do that in college, we'd be very happy with that. This play, just another feel of JR offensively. He did miss this, but that's just kind of the feel for him right now. Here's a nice catch and shoot three by Blake. He's not really a catch and shoot guy. He's more of a off the dribble guy to me, off the bounce. But nice job showing off his, not range, but shot. If you look close there, it's really nice hustle by JR to get in the play. This play right here by Blake, I've been wanting to see this for months from Blake, and I've started to see it in the last couple weeks of the summer, so I'm really happy to see that. And then JR matched it right there, so really nice from both. Obviously, they got to work on their finishing a little bit. We saw some misses. I think we'll see a couple more, but really nice so far. Figured I'd throw that in there because JR didn't get that many shots up, but not a terrible shot attempt, still not ideal. And then Blake coming down the court, another one of those crazy plays. Well, actually, no, he got blocked on that one. But it just shows you how he attacks the basket. This one shows you Blake in transition is just really hard to stop. He's one of the best transition players I've seen in a while. Really gets up high for his dunks or whatever. There's the instant replay, and I think we may have one more transition play. And then here's another one that's going to get instant replayed. Just another take that I'm looking for him from a long time. Really happy to finally see it. Hopefully he can do this kind of stuff more consistently. But great take over the contest too. So yeah, just a really nice play, and then a nice putback from him too. But really encouraging. Blake Wesley has gotten a lot better over the summer, in my opinion. Just really like what I've seen from him from an offensive standpoint, mostly. I think he's really developed. His shot selection, his finishing has really improved. His defense has improved to an extent. Just really happy to see that. JR's got to hit that one. Like I said, just work on finishing a little bit. But there's a nice pass by JR, and that's going to be our last clip. So overall, I think, like I said, Blake has got a lot better over the summer. Really improved from what I saw at Riley in the couple games I was able to watch. Hopefully he can build on that going into the season, and hopefully we see him at Notre Dame soon. But as for JR, I think the finishing may need to be improved a little bit, but we know what we have with his shooting ability. I love that he's attacking the basket more, and he's pretty good defensively now. We saw him playing 1 and 2 a little bit, so maybe he can handle the ball more than we think at Notre Dame. But overall, like what I saw from both of them. Thank you guys for watching. Go Irish, and we'll have more podcasts out soon. Peace.